Yep.
Welcome to the Church of Perpetual Life. Glad that you're here
And-
tonight. My name is Neal Vandry, and
I'm
I'm your
stopping your
officiating.
video.
I'd like to welcome you to our service here tonight online. We're in Zoom as well as live streaming in YouTube. If this is your first time joining us at Perpetual Life, I'd like to invite you to join our email list so that you can get updates on all that's going on around the world with super longevity and what's going on with Perpetual Life. We want you to have a long and healthy life. Hopefully, we can reach the point where our lives are unlimited. And you can simply join that by going to the website perpetual.life and sending me an email, and I'll get you on the list for the newsletters. Now, tonight, we're online only, and we continue to be in Zoom and YouTube live stream until September. In October, we'll be back in person and online in Zoom and YouTube. I want to thank Rudy Hoffman and David Croft for hosting our Zoom this evening, as they do a great job every time. Tonight, we were scheduled to have Dr. Zahi Fayyad to speak, but unfortunately, we've had to reschedule him. We do, however, have several excellent short presentations by Jose Cordeiro, Chogwu Abdul, Joe Kowalsky, Gennady Stolyarov, and a couple of videos with RAADFest and TimePie, the TimePie event. After our speakers, if you have any questions, we'll have a short Q&A for them. So make note of your questions, and we'll have a short questions and answer session after the speakers get a chance to talk. I'd like to mention that we do have a Perpetual Life WhatsApp group. It's a private group for the church. Any of you that would like to be members, you can find the sign up for that in our newsletter. So join that. That's a great thing that's going on, so that through the week you can make contact with our members. I'd like to make note of the fact that there are 2 unicorn summits coming up. If you don't know about them, in South America, the event is August 30th and 31st. And in North America, October 17th and 18th. These are the unicorn summits coming up. And you can find out more about that if you just Google Unicorn Summit. We'd like to thank you for your wonderful donations at Perpetual Life. Your donations help us to do more for you and the longevity community. Online, if you'd like to make a donation, you can find a link at the top of our website at perpetual.life. I've mentioned before and would like to again that Dr. Maharaj from the Maharaj Stem Cell Institute and Dr. Kurt Whitmore with that institute are still doing a special study with stem cell enriched young plasma treatments. I am in that study, and I just had an infusion on Tuesday. And if you'd like to be involved with this study, contact me or contact Dr. Whitmore at our church. You can contact me directly. I'll connect you with them. They are also looking for young plasma donors, people who are 18 to 35 years old. And there is a financial compensation for donating plasma. Contact me and I'll connect you with Dr. Whitmore on this project. Let's do our creed. Here at Perpetual Life, we have a creed. We believe that all of life is sacred and that we have been given this one life to make unlimited. We believe in our Creator's divine plan for all of humanity to have infinite lifespans in perfect health and eternal joy, rendering death to be optional. By following our gospel, we achieve eternal life, creating a heaven here on earth. We follow Nikolai Fedorov, who taught that the transcendence of the Creator will be solved only when humanity, in our unified efforts, become an instrument of universal resuscitation, when the divine word becomes our divine action. And we follow Arthur C. Clarke, who said, the only way to discover the limits of the possible is to go beyond them into the impossible. And so we enter each day energized in spirit and empowered by the words of our prophets to live in joy, serving our Creator and all of mankind forever and ever. Now, what about cryonics and biostasis? If you're curious about cryonics and biostasis, you will find resources at Perpetual Life, but you can also contact me, and I'll be very happy to connect you with different groups that are doing biostasis so that you can learn more about that. And I'm happy to get you that information. Just send me an email. Okay, so our first speaker tonight will be Jose Cordeiro. And Jose Cordeiro has spoken at the church a couple of times in the past. He is a Venezuelan Spanish engineer, economist, futurist, transhumanist. He has worked in different areas, including economic development, international relations, Latin American and the European Union, monetary policy, comparison of constitutions, energy trends, cryonics, and life extension. Jose Cordeiro wrote a book, The Death of Death, and he's quite famous for that. We have copies at the church. You can get them on Amazon. Okay, he is a visiting research fellow of IDE JETRO in Tokyo, Japan, the director of the Millennium Project, a Venezuelan node. He's an adjunct professor, Moscow Institute of Physics and Technology in Russia. He's the founder and president emeritus of the World Future Society. He's a founding energy advisor, faculty, Singularity University, NASA Research Park, California. And we welcome now Jose to tell us about his event that he's having in Europe over there in Madrid. Hello, Jose. Please unmute and join us.
Yes, it is a pleasure to be always back with my friends from the Church of Perpetual Life. So let me share a presentation to talk a little bit about what we are doing in Spain, where I live now. And you said many of the things I'm doing. I'm totally dedicated to immortality, as I like to say. Plan A is through biological rejuvenation, and Plan B through cryonics. So I am wearing my Alcor Life Extension Foundation t-shirt. If we are going to travel to other planets, we might need to go into biostasis or cryopreservation. So anyway, I believe in cryonics also. So I'm very proud to say that. And I support all the cryonics groups, Cryonics Institute, Alcor, Tomorrow Bio, now in Europe, that is growing very fast. Also, even in China, in Russia, there are cryonics facilities. But I want to talk about what we are organizing here in Madrid, in Spain. And we also support, of course, what is happening in other countries, like RAADFest. I will be speaking the first week of September at the Revolution Against Aging and Death, which is RAADFest in Scottsdale, in Phoenix, Arizona. That is coming out, as you can see, September 4, 5, and 6. So I'm happy to be there. And then I will go to China. I will go to the TimePie Longevity Forum that is in Shanghai. And I will be presenting the Chinese edition of my global bestseller, The Death of Death. And then also I will be in Hong Kong, also talking about the death of death and in other places. And the last week of September, we have our big event about longevity in Madrid. It's called the International Longevity Summit. We organize it always to coincide with October 1st, which is International Longevity Day. So we celebrate International Longevity Day, and we extend it for a couple of days for conferences and also a couple of days for tourism, to enjoy life, to make friends, new ones, old ones, and so on. So you see many conferences, and this makes me excited. 20 years ago, when I was coming into longevity, there was basically only one conference in the world about biological rejuvenation, only one, or maybe two, depending on how you count. But now there are close to 40 conferences, and probably soon there will be 50 and 60. This is exploding. This is booming, which means that this is becoming serious. This is becoming real. Just to put this in perspective, I am an engineer from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and the first half of my working life, I was into energy, and now I am more into biotechnology. And I love science fiction, and I visited Sir Arthur C. Clarke, who is one of the prophets of the Church of Perpetual Life, and he's very famous for the three laws of the future, one of which is the only way of discovering the limits of the possible is to venture past those limits into the impossible. And we are moving into the impossible, including immortality. This has been very close to my personal work and life since 2009, when we founded Singularity University at NASA Ames Research Center in Silicon Valley, in Mountain View, next to the Googleplex, to the main Google headquarters. The origin of this Singularity University, which is really not a university and is not about the singularity, but it talks about exponential technologies for people who want to know about what is happening in the future. And at Singularity University, we talked about, of course, the singularity, immortality, artificial intelligence, robotics, space travel, nanotechnology, and many, many more things. Normally, we use the date 2045, which is the date of our founder, Ray Kurzweil, together with Peter Diamandis. They are the main two founders of Singularity University. And we believe that thanks to exponential technologies, by 2045, we will reach the singularity and immortality. Again, this has been published extensively through the books of Ray Kurzweil and many other people, beginning with The Singularity is Near in 2005. And things are moving faster, smaller, cheaper, and better continuously. And this is beginning to happen now in longevity, in life extension. At the time of the Roman Empire, life in the Roman Empire was about 20 years. Average. And in Rome, in the capital, it was 25 years. So all of us watching this probably could be dead on average at the time of the Roman Empire. It took centuries until average life span doubled. Around 1900, it went to 40, and then 45, and then 50. Right now, it is reaching 75, 80, but soon it's going to reach 100, and then it's going to keep on growing exponentially, and we will be living indefinite lifespans. We will basically be living, we hope, forever young, which is the important part. The idea is to be biologically young for as long as you want. That is the reason why my fantastic co-author, David Wood, who also studied at Cambridge, UK, I studied in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and we decided to write the book, The Death of Death, that became immediately a bestseller, of course, in my native Spanish first, but then in English. We are donating all the money to some foundations, both in Spain, in the USA. And now the book, it's also, as I mentioned, of course, in English, in Chinese. I will be presenting next month in China, in Hong Kong, and in Shanghai. And now it's in many more languages, talking about the possibility of immortality. So I'm really happy that people all over the world are understanding that this is scientific, that this is real. And our friend Aubrey de Grey has been talking about this since last millennia, since the last millennium, the last century, if you want, as well. And he was called a charlatan, actually. MIT Technology Review, my university, in their magazine, Technology Review, they said that Aubrey de Grey was basically a charlatan, that it was impossible to become immortal. It was totally impossible. What I find incredible is that 14 years later, MIT Technology Review, the same publication that criticized him, basically told him, okay, you are probably right. We might end aging very soon. So this is an incredible change of view, of point of view of an institution so important as the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And the German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer said it very well. He said that all truth goes through 3 stages. In the first stage, it is ridiculed. In the second stage, it is violently opposed. And finally, in the third stage, is accepted as self-evident. This will happen by the year 2045, if not earlier. This will be self-evident that aging can be cured, that aging can be reversed. And that is why we organized this big conference in Spain for several years on October 1st, which is International Longevity Day. And you might wonder, why Spain and why Madrid? And besides the fact that I live here, which is important, is also because Spain is the most longevous country in the European Union. It used to be Italy until the COVID pandemic. And then Italy went down to number 2 and Spain went up to number 1. So since COVID, Spain is the most longevous country in the European Union. And Madrid is the most longevous city in the European Union. Life expectancy now in Madrid is 86.1 years. And by the way, these are not Spanish numbers. These are European numbers, okay? So the most longevous city in Europe is the capital of Spain, the most longevous country. So come to Spain if you want to live longer. Move to Madrid. And as you probably all know by now, Spain just won again the World Cup. And we were celebrating, of course, in Spain, in the most beautiful place, in the Cibeles Palace. Cibeles, by the way, was a Middle Eastern goddess of longevity. And that is in the center of Madrid, the goddess of longevity, where we celebrated that Spain became the world champion in football, or you might call it soccer in the USA. Spain has been evolving throughout the centuries. 2,000 years ago, Spain, when it was part of the Roman Empire, it was called the country of non plus ultra, which meant in Latin, nothing far beyond. Nothing far beyond Spain, because Spain was the end of the Roman Empire, and there was nothing known to the west of Spain. There was this dark, big ocean. It was the end of the Roman world. And that is what Spain meant, non plus ultra. But then Spain, as you probably know, discovered America with some Italians and some other people, Portuguese, etc., and connected the old world and the new world in a systematic, continuous way. And Spain changed its motto from non plus ultra to plus ultra. Spain now is the country of far beyond, far beyond. And I wanted to be the country of vita plus ultra, which is life far beyond, because already Spain is the most longevous country in the European Union. So we organized this big event in the most beautiful auditorium. Well, in different auditoriums in Spain, we have been changing venues, like this incredible place, which is the College of Medical Doctors. And last year, we had the mayor of Madrid. The gentleman in the center is the mayor of Madrid. The lady on one side is the director of the College of Medical Doctors. And the scientist in the painting in the back is the famous Spanish scientist Santiago Ramón y Cajal, who discovered the connections between the neurons, and he got the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 1906. Spain also has had a couple of Nobel Prizes in medicine, and they were very active in interested in not only the brain, but longevity. So this is moving very fast. I was less than 3 years ago with my friend Peter Diamandis, that you remember co-founded Singularity University and also studied at MIT a couple of years ahead of me. And then Peter Diamandis, and I accompanied him to Saudi Arabia for the launching of the most incredible prize in human history, the X Prize for Health Span, which implies biological rejuvenation by the year 2030. This is the most incredible prize and the biggest prize in history so far, $101 million. And the goal is to rejuvenate people at least 10 years by the end of 2030. So I'm very excited because Peter Diamandis will be speaking in Madrid announcing the finalists so far of this X Prize. The X Prize began, as you saw, in 2023. This is already the third year, and they have a set of 10 finalists that will be announced in the following weeks, and there are several Spanish teams competing. We also had last year in our conference, Ray Kurzweil, that all of you know, talking about, of course, longevity, escape velocity, immortality, and things like that. Also, 2 years ago, we had Brian Johnson, and we were comparing our books. He was talking about his book, Don't Die, and I was talking about The Death of Death. So Brian Johnson, of course, also a very interesting character. Also, 4 years ago, we had the Nobel Prize winner in medicine, Shinya Yamanaka, that discovered what we call today epigenetic reprogramming. And he discovered that cells rejuvenation is possible. This is incredible. He was in Madrid, and he talked that we are very close to rejuvenated not only cells, which is what he did, but organs and eventually bodies. And talking about organs, my friend David Sinclair, who also did his postdoc at MIT, and now he's a professor at Harvard, David Sinclair and his team, they rejuvenated organs for the first time in history in 2020. And they were the cover of the Nature magazine. And you can see the article, Turning Back Time. This was in 2020 when they rejuvenated the eyes of mice. Last year, in 2025, one of his colleagues spoke in Madrid, and he said that now they were rejuvenated the eyes of monkeys. And he announced that this year, in 2026, they could begin with human clinical trials to rejuvenate human eyes. Human eyes. In fact, they have just begun. They have about 20 human patients, and they are working with the three first Yamanaka factors. And probably by the end of the year, we will have older blind people that will see again. This is incredible. So this is happening right now while we talk. I'm very excited. And his team announced this in Madrid last year. So you see, we have all of these fantastic speakers from all over the world coming to Madrid, to the most longevous capital in Europe. And then we have tours because I want people to enjoy life. We go one day to the north of Madrid to 3 UNESCO World Heritage sites. And another day we go to the south to another 3 UNESCO World Heritage sites. And then we have fantastic 2 days of conferences. And then we have a march for longevity, a rally for immortality through the center of Madrid. In our visits, we go to the Roman aqueduct of Segovia. My mother was from Segovia, a beautiful city just close to Madrid in the north, where we also have the most beautiful castle in the world, the Alcázar of Segovia, Alcázar Castle in Spanish, in Arabic. It's so beautiful that Walt Disney used this castle for his inspiration for the Disneyland Castle. The Castle of Segovia, where my mother was born, was the inspiration for the Disneyland Castle. And you will come and see it if you come. And then we have the big rally for immortality through the center of Madrid. We go through the most famous place in Spain, which is the City Hall, the Cibeles Palace, where we celebrated Spain winning the World Cup again. And this is very famous place. This is the City Hall of Madrid. And this is me, you know, we have balloons, stop aging in Spanish, and we have flags and we have banners, all the information. This is the state government here. And this is the City Hall again with balloons. And this is the Congress of Spain, the Congress, you can see. And in front of the Congress of Spain last year, We killed the Grim Reaper. This was very, very viral in media. In fact, in the most important newspaper of Spain, El País, you can see that El País, the most important newspaper, like the New York Times of Spain, we were in the cover, 2 pages, 3 pictures in color about killing death in front of the Congress, killing the Grim Reaper. This was fantastic media attention we brought. So the goal that we are pursuing here in Spain, and of course all of us together, is to rejuvenate people, and not through a fancy Russian app. Probably you know Face App. Face App is fantastic, but I don't want to be younger through an application through a telephone or a computer. I want to be younger through biological rejuvenation. So read The Death of Death, and as I joke, those who read The Death of Death will not die. Guaranteed, guaranteed, or your money back. So anyway, read The Death of Death to open up your mind. Come to Madrid. You are welcome to the most beautiful experience and set of speakers, participants, food, Mediterranean diet, very good for longevity, in the most beautiful auditorium in Spain, and meet the mayor of Madrid, the most longevous city. So join the rally for immortality, and as my Trekkie friends say, live long and prosper. So, my pleasure. Hope to see you all forever.
Great, Jose. That's great. Thank you. Let's see if anyone has any questions of you. That was a great presentation, and I think that you really are, it's impressive the number of people that you have had the opportunity to network with on this movement for age reversal. We really thank you for all that you're doing over there in Spain. And I know it's late over there in Spain. Let me see if there's any questions online. And we have no questions in the live stream. How about here in Zoom? Any questions for our friend Jose? Well, Jose, I wish that I could join you at this event, and I'm going to see if I can't do that. The stuff that you've got going on is just incredible. And I certainly will join you at one of these events that you're having in Spain. Okay, I don't see any questions.
And you will get some balloons and
I
flags and many
yes.
things.
I'd like to, yes, and I'd like to reiterate his book, Death on Death, The Death of Death. Jose's book, The Death of Death, is really an incredible read. If there's just one book that you want to pick out on age reversal, on this whole movement, this is one of the books to get, and it's in many languages. We have a couple of copies at our church at a library, but I think we're going to get a few more of those, Jose, just to make sure everybody is able to access it. I think most of them are checked out over the summer. All right. Well, thank you, Jose, for that presentation. And here's a question we've got from Anita. Can you explain how you are doing the eye regeneration? Do you know how they're working, what work they're doing with the eye regeneration, Jose?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, I was with David Sinclair 2 months ago. We had a private dinner in a conference in Stockholm, in Sweden. The conference is called Superhuman. Also very interesting conference, Superhuman. And then we had dinner. And he said, he began using the 3 first Yamanaka factors. They were injected into the eyes of humans. Again, this was first done with mice, remember, in 2020, and it worked. Then last year, it was done in monkeys, and it worked. And now they just began doing this with 19 patients. So there are 19 humans that were just injected a few weeks ago with the first 3 Yamanaka factors. For those who know about the Yamanaka factors, they are called, according to the genes, OSKM. But the last one, the M gene, semic, actually can create also cancer. So right now it's been not used for this cellular reprogramming, epigenetic reprogramming, and it has worked on cells. Basically, you can rejuvenate any kind of cell today. But organs is more complicated, and this is what he's doing now. He's rejuvenating organs with only the first 3 Yamanaka factors, and it has worked in mice and in monkeys last year. So I'm very excited, truly, that by the end of this year, we will have blind people that will see again. Of course, this is because they had eye-related diseases of aging, like glaucoma and macular degeneration. So this could be reversed in the future. But not only they are working on eyes, they are working on 4 more organs. Right now, again, on mice, they are working on kidneys, livers, and I believe hearts and lungs on mice. It will probably work in a couple of years. We should be able to rejuvenate the kidneys, livers, lungs, and hearts of mice. Then we will move into monkeys and then into humans. This is done organ by organ, and then eventually at the whole organism level. This is absolutely incredible. This is done through his company, Life Bioscience. But besides that, he's also participating on the X Prize for 2030. So he also said openly he's doing this with Harvard University, not with his company, but with a team of researchers at Harvard. And he said he plans to win the $101 million or the equivalent by the end of 2030. But he said it doesn't matter if he doesn't win, because he said someone will win. And this is incredible. I mean, he's so confident that someone will win, even if it is not him, and he's very happy. And so all of us should be very happy that very soon, I do think that by December 2030, we will have proven therapies for biological rejuvenation. But anyway, if it is not December 2030, it will be December 31st or 32nd. I mean, this is coming. So it's really exciting. We live in the best times. This is incredible what we are going to see in the future. Thank you.
We really do, Jose. Yes, we really do live in the best times. And the other thing that's happening is the regrowing of human teeth. It's an amazing thing that we're going to be able to regrow things for ourselves and, of course, reverse our aging. We have tonight people from 5 continents here with us in our Zoom and on our YouTube live stream. There are many people that would like to attend your conference in Madrid, except they aren't able to get there in person. Can you explain how people can talk to a little bit about the remote option for the conference, if people can access it by Zoom or by YouTube live stream? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Because indeed, we are live streaming. We will be broadcasting the conference so people can connect in real time, ask questions, and then watch the recordings as well. There are prices for that. It began, I think it was 19 or 29 euros. And then now 10 more euros. So it's relatively very cheap, and then you can watch it forever in person and ask questions, or watch the recordings, and you will have that forever. We are also helping people to get visas, because sometimes people want to come, but they need a visa to enter Europe. So we have actually helped people from 5 different countries to get their visas to come to Europe. So people are welcome to come in person, because the tours will be in person. We will not be streaming the tours. That will be only in person. Also, the food, the Mediterranean diet, you need to experience it. In Spain, we have 2 magic words that you probably know. One is called fiesta, party, and the other one is called siesta, which is nap. So in Spain, we like to have fiesta and siesta, party and napping. So anyway, you can connect online, please, and get to the website. It's very simple, longevitysummit.madrid. I repeat, longevitysummit.madrid, or just Google it. It will show up in your computer, and then just register for the streaming option. Very cheap.
Thank you, Jose. There was a question on the live stream. If you could tell us a little bit about the importance of fasting. Do you have any thing you can say on that?
Absolutely. Actually, I do what is called autophagy. Autophagy is when you don't eat. I mean, this is long fasting for about 3 days or more because well, fasting actually is good. You know, when we evolved in Africa and also our ancestors and other animals, you know, we only eat when we get food. And, you know, 100,000 years ago, there were no supermarkets. I am saying this because we did not evolve to eat 3 times a day. This is very new. Eating 3 times a day is new and actually is not that good, seriously, because eating actually is bad for your stomach and for your body. So I recommend fasting or eating, you know, within a time window. I lived 3 years in Japan, and in Japan, they do something many people, not all, very popular called OMAD, 1 meal a day, OMAD. And I normally do that. When I am on my own and I can control my schedule, I only have lunch, only lunch. But besides that, OMAD, or having a time window of eating very close breakfast and lunch, or maybe lunch and dinner, so that you stay maybe 16 hours without food, which is good. I also do autophagy. Autophagy is, again, over 60 or 70 hours without food. And this is very good. Really, just Google it, autophagy. This is very good because it forces the body to eat the old and bad cells. The young and strong cells are hungry. And what do if there is no food? Well, they eat the old and weak cells in the body. So this is fantastic for your body, and it doesn't cost anything. In fact, you save money doing this, autophagy. Google it, it is very important. I normally do this 3 days without food every 3 months. So it's normally, in my case, 3 days. You need like 60 hours or 70 hours so that the body is so hungry that the young new cells eat the old cells, including cancer cells. You know, this is a good way to eliminate, to get rid of some cancer cells. So autophagy, auto, yourself, phagy, eating, eat yourself. Your body eats yourself. So this is beyond fasting. Fasting is good, but autophagy is better. Every 3 months, that's what I do. I'm not a doctor, but ask your doctor, probably he will tell you, or check it in Wikipedia, Google, or ChatGPT.
Yes, very good. And there are different people doing different types of fasting. I do it differently than Jose, but I'm very interested in the way you do it, Jose. Maybe I'll follow your routine someday. But my simple method of fasting is to eat all of the food that I eat every day, typically within a 6-hour period, and fast the rest of the time, doing this day after day. All right. So let me bring up Mr. Abdul. Are you there? If you can indicate if you're there with us. I see. Okay.
Yes, I'm
Yes, he
here.
is.
I'm
Okay.
here.
Great, great. Stand by. We're going to bring you up now. And let me tell you a little bit about Chogwu Abdul. Mr. Abdul is a Nigerian philosopher, lecturer, and leading advocate for the academic transhumanism in Africa. He serves as the founder of the Transhumanist Africa and works as a philosophy lecturer at the University of Abuja. He's the founder of Transhumanist Africa and the Transhumanist Enlightenment Cafe, lecturer at the university, Nigerian foreign ambassador for the United States Transhumanist Party, head of the tech ethics at Main Logics, and editorial advisor for Immortalists magazine. And now Mr. Abdul will tell us about his conference in Africa, coming to us now from Africa. Yes, Mr. Abdul.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we hear you great. Tell us all about your event.
All right. Okay. Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here. I'd like to begin by expressing my sincere appreciation to the Church of Perpetual Life, for this wonderful opportunity to share a vision that I believe is both timely and deeply relevant to all of us. As already introduced, my name is Chogwu Abdul from the University of Abuja in Nigeria, and I have the privilege of speaking on behalf of Transhumanist Africa and the Enlightenment Transhumanist Forum of Nigeria, which are the co-organizers of the Africa International Conference on Human Enhancement, ICHE 2026. I am delighted to invite you to join us on the 10th and 11th of December 2026 at the University of Abuja, where I teach. But there will also be a full virtual participation available for colleagues and friends joining us from all around the world. Our conference theme is Transhumanism, Science and Religion in Africa, Introducing a Conversation. We believe this theme is intentional. Around the world, there are conversations about artificial intelligence, biotechnology, longevity science, neurotech, and human enhancement, which keeps accelerating. But then these technologies are changing medicine, they are reshaping economies, and they are challenging long-held assumptions about life, health, intelligence, aging, and even what it means to be human. But yet, technology alone cannot answer some of the most important questions. We agree, I also believe that technology can expand human possibilities, but then philosophy, ethics, and religion are also there to help us decide how these possibilities should be used. And that is the conversation ICHE seeks to encourage. At Transhumanist Africa, we believe Africa has an important contribution to make to these global discussions. Not because Africa should simply catch up with the rest of the world, but because Africa brings something distinctive. We bring rich philosophical traditions, diverse religious perspectives, vibrant cultures, resilient communities, and one of the youngest populations on Earth. Across the continent, millions of young people are building startups, studying engineering, advancing medicine, exploring AI, and asking profound questions about technology, ethics, faith, and the future. As Africa's scientific and technological capacity continues to grow, so too does the need for thoughtful conversations about the values that should guide this progress. And this is why our conference, ICHE, matters. It is more than a conference. It is the beginning of what we hope will become a lasting African conversation on human enhancement, where we hope to bring together scientists, philosophers, theologians, healthcare professionals, technologists, innovators, entrepreneurs, policymakers, students, and religious leaders to learn from one another and to imagine responsible, ethical, and life-affirming futures together. This is also why we believe the Church of Perpetual Life is such an important conversation partner. Your long-standing commitment as a church to exploring life extension, emerging technologies, and the relationship between scientific progress and spiritual life offers valuable insights that can enrich these conversations across Africa. At the same time, Africa offers exciting opportunities to the church itself. The continent is home to extraordinary religious diversity encompassing Christianity, Islam, indigenous African religions, and also we have diaspora Eastern Asian communities here who have brought in religions like Buddhism and Hinduism into the continent. And then there are also other faith and secular humanist traditions all represented on the continent. So with this religious diversity, a youthful and increasingly technology-oriented population, and a growing innovation ecosystem, Africa provides fertile ground for meaningful dialogue, for new partnerships, and the thoughtful expansion of the mission of the Church of Perpetual Life. We see this as a relationship of mutual learning. Africa can learn from the experience of the Church of Perpetual Life, and we believe Africa's own philosophical, ethical, and religious traditions can make important contributions to the global conversation on the future of humanity. If this sparks your interest, all those listening, then I warmly encourage you to visit our conference website at transhumanistafrica.org/ICHE 2026. That is transhumanistafrica.org/AICHE 2026, which I've also dropped in the chat before this talk. There you will find information about our call for abstracts, the conference teams and sub-teams, keynote speakers, registration, and opportunities to participate as attendees, partners, sponsors, and exhibitors. I also use this opportunity to as well promote our good music in Africa. We produce Afrobeats from Nigeria, which has gone global. Our cuisine is also great. We also have a very vibrant fashion scene. And then the people are simply hospitable. So whether you wish to present your work, collaborate with us, or simply join the conversation, we will be delighted to welcome you. Once again, I express my heartfelt appreciation to the leadership and members of the Church of Perpetual Life for your generosity in allowing us to share the vision of IHA 2026 with your community. And we sincerely hope many of you will join us, whether in Abuja, Nigeria, or online this December. We look forward not only to your participation, but also to your ideas, your questions, and your fellowship, as together we explore how science, technology, philosophy, and religion can contribute to a future in which innovation serves human wisdom and flourishing. Thank you very much, and I look forward to welcome you to IHE 2026 this December.
Thank you, Chogwu. I'd like to mention the fact that there are a couple of members of the church that will be speaking at your event. Bill Falloon will be giving a presentation along with Natasha Moore and Max Moore. And I'm wondering, as I recall, this is a hybrid event where people can join in with Zoom. Is that how it is? Okay,
it's a hybrid event where it's both in person and on Zoom. Yeah.
It's always better to go in person, but if you can't get there, then you're going to want to be on the Zoom. And there will be, in our newsletter, you'll find a link to the website for this event. Thank you very much, Mr. Abdul. Great to have you tonight.
Thank you.
Okay. I didn't see any questions online or in the Zoom for Mr. Abdul, so let's move along to our next speaker tonight. And our next speaker is none other than Joe Kowalsky, speaking on Organs for Life. Joe Kowalsky is a good friend of ours and member here at the church. Both of his parents are teachers, and he's been very involved in the Cryonics Institute. He's met many people and worked with many people within biostasis. Joe went to Wayne State University on a full merit scholarship, and during this time he worked part-time in Detroit. He was the founder of a small long-distance company. He's now very busy with other things. He's in Michigan. We're going to bring up my good friend Joe Kowalsky. Joe, and now he's got a different look than he did a year ago. There he is.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, you're coming through clear.
Thanks for having me. I'm going for the look, as I said earlier, somewhere between Aubrey de Grey and David Letterman. I hope I've got that going. I thank you to Neal, thanks to the church, thanks to Bill Falloon, thanks to everybody being here. And it always is it's a treat to hear the people that come before me. And yet at the same time, I feel like, well, I could just go home now because it's already, everything's been said and it's so exciting and we're already there. It's just a matter of waiting a few years. But I wanted to give a little bit of history because in my experience, things always take a little bit longer than we hope that they will. And while I fully expect that all of these things are indeed coming to pass, and in fact, one of the most exciting things I'm going to just mention that Dr. Cordeiro said was with regard to what David Sinclair is doing, with regard to the research that Bill Falloon is doing on the Yamanaka factors, one of the most exciting parts of that to me is that the FDA is now sort of on board with this, and that can change public opinion. And, in the past, public opinion has been fairly negative to this. But once the government says, hey, this is something we could do, for the first time, the FDA has said that aging is a disease. They are about to approve a drug for large dogs through a company called Loyal, which can extend a lifespan by 20%, healthy lifespan in dogs by 20%. And that is actually the first time that the FDA has admitted that aging itself is a disease, as opposed to that diseases cause aging. And now with this study by David Sinclair, it's the first human study of an anti-aging medication under the FDA's auspices. So changing cultural norms is really a huge factor in our moving forward with what we're doing. But that wasn't what I was going to talk about. So back to the history. I became involved when I was 13 years old, about 1978. I was the youngest person involved with Cryonics Institute at the time. And about 27 years ago, I joined the volunteer board of directors. I'm still on the board of directors today. As an aside, the Cryonics Institute is celebrating its 50th anniversary, and everybody's invited September 12th to 13th. We're having a big celebratory party here in Michigan for the 50th anniversary. But it's also the annual meeting, by the way, of the Cryonics Institute. I have to skip over a few things because Dr. Cordeiro already talked about them, so forgive me, I'm jumping a little bit. You may have noticed that cryonics is not as popular as Elvis. When I first started in 1978, I thought that this was going to be something that everybody was going to jump on board with, and it was so obvious, and why not? But it's, over time, we've seen that it's not really picked up steam for a lot of people in society. And in 2013, only 35 years later, I'm a smart guy. It only took me 35 years to realize this. I realized that there are things that society is excited about already that could help cryonics. And so I started Organs for Life. At that time, we called it the Crow Prize. The Crow Prize is now one of our main projects. But Organs for Life, it came up with the idea of trying to find ways to store organs at low temperatures with the intent of using them for organ replacement. And, organ donation right now is at a high, but at the same time, over 50% of donated organs don't get used. Over 80% of lungs don't get used. And while that happens, we also have a huge waiting list for organs. And organ transplant is something that everybody thinks is great. I mean, I've been involved, as I said, since 1978. I've talked to friends recently about the organ transplant project, the organ transplant research that I'm now working on. And they say, you've talked to me about cryonics now for 40 years, and I don't know. But this organ thing, now you got something. The reality is that we're not going to freeze, we're not going to vitrify a whole body and bring it back until we can do that with an organ. Now, I am hopeful that this research that David Sinclair is doing, that Bill Falloon is doing, that others are doing with the Yamanaka factors and otherwise, is going to make this generally not needed. But even if it is needed for short-term storage in the future, my bet is that we're not going to be able to resolve everything immediately when people need it to be done. And I have a feeling that cryonics is going to be used as at least short-term storage for the foreseeable future. But even, if it's not, we definitely need it now, and we don't have it. What we have is a valid and good method of storing people. We don't have a method of bringing them back. So what we've started to do is to create a prize. The X Prize Foundation had tried to create a prize for organ vitrification going back probably 15 or 20 years. And they were arguing about the rules. And to this day, they have not been able to come up with the rules that they agree to. So we feel that, decent is good. And we have rules, and we have these organs that we can, give this prize for. If people can vitrify them, bring them back to full usage. And that's really our main goal. But we also have other things now with Organs for Life. We have people writing their stories. when they have organ transplants. We have people who are doing different types of research as far as organs that are being either built on scaffoldings from scratch out of people's own cells so that there won't be any rejection. We have encouraging research into other types of organ storage, including keeping them alive, making them think that they're still inside somebody's body, but whatever it might be. But the point is that this is a stepping stone to cryonics, which we believe is still going to be necessary for the foreseeable future. And that's really all of it in a nutshell. I have lots of pretty pictures also, which I didn't bring tonight. But the one thing that I think, Dr. Cordeiro mentioned also, he always talks about things that I'm going to talk about. He mentioned the Star Trek Live Long and Prosper and everything. And there was a scene that I really liked in Star Trek, for those of you who are fans, where they went to an alternate universe, and the people in this universe were barbarians. And Captain Kirk from our universe was talking to the Mr. Spock from that universe about how illogical all that was. And so he said to him, Spock said, well, one man can't make the future. And Kirk said, yes, but one man can change the present, or I'll change it to one person can change the present. And I think one of the most important things that we can learn here is, going to these conferences, very important. Taking a moment to actually volunteer some time or work on your own project, also very important. A lot of times people say, well, we've got all these people working on this. It's in the hopper. It's going to get done. Everything's all set. I can sit back and wait for it to happen. And the reality is that's what our founder, Robert Ettinger, said in the 1940s. He said, he was sitting in a hospital after being in the Battle of the Bulge and being seriously injured. And he was there for months. And he thought about a lot of things during that time. And one of the things that he thought about was cryonics. And he said, I'm in my 20s. By the time I need it, it'll be taken care of. And time went by and nobody did anything about it. And finally, he basically had what I call the oh crap moment when he decided he's going to have to do it himself. And the reality is we don't know what's going to work. As David Sinclair said, as Dr. Cordeiro said, David Sinclair said, he might not win that prize, but somebody is going to. And the more people that are working on this project, the faster it becomes reality. None of us is growing younger yet. And we really need to move it forward. And that means that each of us needs to do as much as we can to move this forward as rapidly as possible. And so I encourage people to join. We would love to have more people with Organs for Life. And anybody who wants to be involved with that, please do. Please talk to us about it. When I started involved with cryonics, people thought that I was crazy, and people would say that to me frequently, and thought the idea was crazy. We have moved to a point where people say to me today, almost everybody says to me today, I think this will work, but it's not for me. So we've moved very far forward, but we still have that additional leap. And so that's what Organs for Life is all about. It's an all-inclusive organization. It's something that virtually everybody in society today thinks is important. So why try and squeeze a square peg into a round hole? Why try and convince people about cryonics when we can talk to people who already want to have better organ transplantation and who think that long-term storage of organs generally through vitrification, through deep cold storage is the way to go. We already have people that want to do this. So let's bring them on board. I kind of think of it like, if you have a grocery store and you have the best grocery store in the world and you put it out on an island in the middle of the Pacific, you're not going to get a lot of people coming to the grocery store. So metaphorically, I don't know why, but metaphorically, that's kind of where cryonics is. Cryonics is that grocery store in the middle of the ocean. It's the best one out there right now, but people aren't coming to it. Better to have a grocery store in the neighborhood. And that's what Organs for Life is all about. People are interested. People want to make it happen. Let's welcome them and let's get it done. And then once we get organ vitrification done, cryonics is a simple or fairly simple next step, we believe. And that's it. That's all I got.
Okay, that was great. That was great, Joe. Let's see if we have any questions for you from our people here.
Come on, guys, throw out the questions. I want the tough ones.
Okay, have they thawed organs and used them yet? Oliver's asking.
Have they thawed organs and used them? Yeah, there have been a couple. You know, we have only 5 organs that are part of the Organ Cryopreservation Prize, and I don't honestly remember which ones they are. But they do not include kidneys. It does not include skin, and there have been a couple of organs that have been thawed and that have been put back into place and utilized. Not the ones that we're looking at. The ones that we're looking at are a bit more difficult. Kidneys are almost all water. And so in one sense, it makes it more difficult because freezing can damage the cells when you have water in there. Vitrification doesn't. But in another sense, it makes it a little bit easier. So we haven't revived any of the organs that we think are the ones that are going to be the real stepping stones to cryonics. And the ones that have been revived, there's been some question about them. There have been a few things that were done. There was one study that was done in South Africa 20 years ago with a rat heart, and then it seems that may have been bogus. There was some work that Paul Siegel did with the dog. I don't know any folks remember that. That was a whole dog actually. There was some other work that he did with organs, with kidneys, I believe, and but not the. Our prize requires not only that it's one of these 5 organs. Sorry about the sun. But also it has to be repeatable. It has to be in an animal for a certain period of time. I mean, there are a number of rules that we did come up with. It's not willy-nilly. And then I saw Rudy had a question about the brain. No, the brain is not one of the organs. And we did that on purpose because for whatever reason, when people talk about organ transplant, as soon as you talk about the brain, suddenly that's cryonics and suddenly they're not interested. And so we didn't want to go down that road. We wanted to make sure that we stayed exactly in the middle of the road where people are interested and where we could get this done. And then once it's done, then we can move on to things that are of greater significance or what we think of as greater significance.
David has posted that the organs are the heart, liver, lung, pancreas. So those are 4 of them, perhaps. Does that sound correct, Joe?
Yes, absolutely. And I can always count on David. I should, thanks to Rudy and to David for running this. I can always count on David to find the information that backs up whatever it is that I'm saying. I feel like kind of like that little angel sitting on your shoulder, and thank you, David.
Yes, very much. Okay, let me check live stream and see if there's any questions for you. Here's a question in live stream. Well, first of all, the question is, how do we get in touch with Organs for Life? Would you like to give a website, Joe?
Yes, I certainly would. It is organs, ORGANS, for FOR.life. Organs4.life, like live long and prosper. No .com, just organs4.life. We have several other sites as well. Our email address is info@organs4.life. And feel free to contact us through that email address or on the website, or I can give my phone number too. If anybody wants to call me, I'm truly old school. I'm happy to take phone calls day or night. And David, thank you again. I got my little angel on the shoulder. David, by the way, is our webmaster. Without him, we wouldn't have any of the stuff that we have. Telephone number you can reach me is toll free if you find a payphone, 1-877-255-1949, 877-255-1949. Call now. Give your ring size.
Great, Joe. And if anyone needs to reach Joe and you're unable to reach him, just contact me. I'll connect you with Joe. A question in our live stream came up, Joe. Have you come across any researchers doing reciprocite research, essentially nano scuba tanks holding pressurized oxygen to keep tissues oxygenated long after blood flow stops? Are you familiar with that?
That sounds vaguely familiar. I got to tell you, by day, I'm a financial advisor. I work on Organs for Life in my free time between 2 and 5 a.m. So my knowledge of the technical aspects and the science is based on my interest, which has been going on for a long time, but not necessarily my aptitude. So I would happily take that question to people in the organization who know more about these things than I do. In fact, is that in the chat? Because I'll take a.
No, it's on our live stream, but
on the live stream.
I'll ask the person in
Could
live stream.
you email that to me? Email me a copy of that, Neal, and I will. And if there's a way I can contact that person, I would. I'll get back to whoever that is.
Sure. Let me put it this way to the person in live stream, since we're unable to reach you directly in live stream, please contact me at stopoldage@aol.com, and I'll forward that over to Joe to connect you on
I
that.
appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Joe.
Great question. I mean, there are issues I know with cryonics where they're talking about using gases instead of using liquid nitrogen for storage, things like that. You know, so there's all sorts of different methods, and I think that that's really important. I was talking recently with someone about honey, about using honey for storage, because if you take a look, you know, honey is one of the only things that does not seem to decay. They found honey stored in ancient Egyptian tombs that's still edible. And it has properties, sugar properties, the viscosity, other things that can help to store things. That has more to do with probably research down the road. But as a vitrification, you know, utilization, it could be. So there are all sorts of things that are coming up, and I would love to hear more.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. Okay. People all over the world clapping for you now, for our speakers.
And I'm clapping for everybody.
Well, let's now go to the next thing that we have, and I'd like to talk a little bit about the RAADFest. Every year we meet somewhere, and there are great speakers from all over the world that come together for the RAADFest. That's the Revolution Against Aging and Death Festival. And this year it's in Arizona, and it's in September. You can go to raadfest.com and get information about it, but I'd like to show you a little video about that. And before I do, I'd like to mention the way the RAADFest got started. I was contacted by the people over there at Unlimited, at Jim Stroll and Joe Bardeen, and we had conversations back and forth, and they wanted to create this festival for life, this RAAD festival. I introduced them to Bill Falloon, and between Bill and Jim, they were able to put together this amazing event. And Jim and his group and Bill and everybody put this together, the RAADFest. If you've never been, you should go. And now we have a video that we can show you. And let's go ahead and play the videos.
Depending on how you look at it, this is either going to be the most fun science conference ever, or it's going to be the most scientific celebration of living ever. Yeah.
RAADFest is a very unique event. What we are doing together is without a doubt the greatest human advancement in history.
understood from a very young age that we're meant to live unlimited lifespans with vitality and strength. RAADFest is special in that this is what it's about. It's about not only longevity, but about connecting with each other.
So that's the RAADFest. If you've not been, you'll want to go, and hope that you're able to make it. I'll be there, and I know many people here on our presentation tonight will be there, so hope that you'll be able to make that. If you need information about RAADFest, again, just contact me. I'll connect you with it, or just go to raadfest.com. That's the easy thing to do. All right. So our next presentation is from Gennady Stolyarov. Gennady is an American libertarian and transhumanist, writer, actuary, civil servant, known for his book, Death is Wrong. About 9 years ago, Gennady donated a number of copies of his book, Death is Wrong, to our library at Perpetual Life. And we've given them out and we've loaned them out. And now I think we're down to just a couple of copies, but it's a great book that was originally written, I think, with the idea of sharing it with younger people, but it's an excellent book that he's put together. He's also leads the U.S. Transhumanist Party. This is a presentation by Gennady, and so let's bring Gennady's video up. He was unable to be with us in person, but he's sent us over a video that we can show. Gennady Stolyarov.
Greetings. My name is Gennady Stolyarov II, and I am the chairman of the U.S. Transhumanist Party, which stands for putting science, health, and technology at the forefront of American politics. I'm also the author of this book. It is Death is Wrong, illustrated children's book published in 2013, which I am very pleased that the Church of Perpetual Life actually offers to visitors on its premises. And I must say the Church of Perpetual Life is, in my view, one of the foremost immortalist organizations in the world. I have been honored to present there several times before and to attend the services of the Church of Perpetual Life in person in February of 2024. So I know I am speaking to a dedicated immortalist audience. And if you would like to see some additional highly immortalist or immortalist-friendly content, I would invite you to watch our weekly Virtual Enlightenment Salon series hosted by the U.S. Transhumanist Party every Sunday, generally at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time, on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/GStolyarov2. That's the first letter of my first name, followed by my last name, followed by 2 capital I's for the Roman numeral 2. So the Virtual Enlightenment Salons are a transdisciplinary series. They started actually in my living room back in 2018 when Dr. Bill Andrews and I and several other guests decided to hold leisurely intellectual conversations and record them. Now, when the pandemic happened, of course, the in-person gatherings became impractical. So we shifted to a virtual format in May of 2020. And since that time, we have held these salons every week without fail, now for 6 years and 2 months. It is astonishing how quickly time passes, but every Sunday, generally, we have had a guest that could be a leading longevity scientist, it could be an entrepreneur, it could be a philosopher, it could be an advocate, it could be a cultural or artistic figure. And we don't just limit our discussions to that person's domain of expertise. We try to relate various domains of knowledge following the understanding of the philosophers of the 18th century Age of Enlightenment, that really we all inhabit one reality and all fields of knowledge are interrelated. And we can get to new insights by encouraging this communication across disciplines, because so often people are siloed in their specialties. And if we can get them to transcend the boundaries of those silos and talk to one another and talk to educated laypersons, then genuine new understandings and new knowledge can emerge. And that is how the 18th century Age of Enlightenment lifted humanity out of a prolonged dark spell, essentially, when it came to limited knowledge and limited rationality throughout society. And we think it's time for a new Age of Enlightenment in the 21st century, which will bring humankind into the transhuman era, when we will all be able to live indefinitely long in good health. We will have, hopefully, material abundance for everybody. We will have space exploration. We will have automation. We will have the kinds of lives that humans should have and that humans deserve to have. So join us every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on my YouTube channel. We have a lively YouTube chat where you're welcome to ask questions. You're welcome to engage with me. You're welcome to engage with the speakers. We have a highly interactive format, and we would encourage you to take part. So thank you very much. And in parting, I would like to share some examples from our prior virtual enlightenment salons, where you will see, hopefully, some familiar individuals to regular attendees of the Church of Perpetual Life. So enjoy these brief excerpts, and I hope that you all live long and prosper.
The neat thing about what you can do here with a traditional life insurance policy is you can take advantage of the fact that most of our cryonics clients are really pretty smart people. They typically don't do things that are dangerous. They don't do things that are risky. Most of us don't do chain, very few of us are chain smokers. I think I have a few folks who are smokers, but very few of us are, chain smokers with traditional cigarettes putting tar into your lungs. Many of us wear life belts, basically take vitamins, do the kind of things that help you be in a good risk pool. The cool thing about new life insurance programs is they have segmented the population to where you're now not in a risk pool with people who weigh 350 pounds and stay home and eat junk food all day long watching daytime TV. You can be in a risk pool with great, healthy people. And the main carrier I work with has actually like 8 or 10 different health categories. And most of our cryonics clients qualify for really among the top of those health categories, which reduces your rate, your internal cost of insurance. So you're doing the very idea you talked about, Daniel, but with a larger group of people who you don't have to as Gennady suggested, you don't have to do these people in to improve your benefit.
We started with water molecules, and we moved up with solutions, and then we moved to tissues, and then my talk was about organs. And I was able to lay out essentially proof at that time, a pathway by which we could cryopreserve organs. I was able to define what level of ice was acceptable and how to get there, and the fact that you could get there without killing the organ. And so we demonstrated that the feasibility of organ banking existed at that time, and it was a matter of putting all the pieces together to create, one machine out of all of these working parts. And I think that changed people's minds. And, I just noticed that after that, Sebastian came onto the scene. That's Sebastian G. came onto the scene, and then people started taking things seriously.
I do see a great role for venues like the Church of Perpetual Life in terms of highlighting recent creations, works of art, literature, films that do promote this more positive techno-optimistic mindset.
Yes, we have to keep on that. Ultimately, where I see humanity going is embracing some other forms than what we have. If you look in the past 2,000 years, you had Jupiter or Zeus, that used to be the main god, with all the other minor gods and goddesses that were worshipped. In different places in the world, you had different gods and goddesses that were worshipped. Now you have primarily Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and Buddhism. These are the primary religions. But we are a species that evolve. We evolve different methods of thought, philosophy and theosophy and religions that will complement our view of the world. 2,000 years ago, we didn't maybe know that the world was a globe. We didn't know what caused thunder. And, we can't stop trying to learn things. We can't stop trying to find things out. The Church of Perpetual Life should be an open and welcoming place for you, Art. If you haven't seen any of our services, you're going to find that it's very different than many of the other services of other churches. It's quite a different thing.
Peter, I wanted to ask you with regard to your thoughts on the path to AGI and how far along you think we are now versus what your thoughts were back in 2017 when we participated in the Freedom Fest panel together. How has your outlook changed from then to now, if it has changed at all? And do you have more optimism about our ability to reach AGI, less optimism, or about the same level contingent on appropriate funding and support for your approach?
Yeah, I think even at an earlier conference at one of the Singularity Summits way back, I think around about the same time that Ben Goertzel also said, we believe we could get AGI within 7 years at the time, and that would have been long time ago. So, and I don't remember what Freedom Fest panel, specifically what I said there, but I'm sure it was somewhere along the lines of we could have it in 7 years or less. That's always been my feeling. So obviously, I have a lot more evidence now with the power of large language models with ChatGPT, what it can do, that gives me even more confidence that, AGI is possible with pretty much current hardware, or, somewhere close to current hardware. So in that sense, it hasn't really changed, but there's more evidence in my mind that we can have it.
Okay, so, it's often that I get contacted and people are saying, well, the Church of Perpetual Life only has services once a month. And sometimes people would like to get together more than that, maybe weekly or even daily, to interact with other longevity enthusiasts, transhumanists, people who want to improve their health and improve the potential for a long life. So you have the Sunday salons that Gennady offers. Every Sunday you can join his salon and you'll be able to get some great stuff. Also, we have the WhatsApp group. So if you want to connect with our members and connect with people, you can join the WhatsApp group and have constant interaction with people. So all of these things are offered. So consider that as we go forward. Now, the next video that we'd like to show is from Hebe Chen from the TimePie group. And this is a conference in Asia. It's in China. We have a couple of free tickets for this. So if you'd like to go to this event in person and need a ticket, let me know and we'll be happy to get that for you. So let's go ahead and show the TimePie video.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure to meet you online here today. My name is Kate. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of TimePie, a leading longevity technology platform based in Shanghai, China. So thanks to the organizer Neal for the invitation and giving me this opportunity to introduce about our upcoming event, the 7th TimePie Longevity Forum, taking place in Shanghai this September. I'm not very sure about whether everyone there have heard of us before. So to give everyone a quick overview, this event is actually one of the largest and the most influential longevity conferences here in China and also in Asia. We have been doing this for 6 consecutive years, and this year is going to be our 7th edition. And hopefully could be one of the best. And we welcome every longevity enthusiast and practitioner on board. So that could be the general picture of our forum. Speaking of this, I think many of you may wonder why should pay attention to this longevity innovation happening in China with so many events that is happening around the globe. So let me share with you a few perspectives. Wait a moment. Yes. As you may know that China has the largest aging population in this world compared to any other countries. We got over 300 million aging population that aged 60 years above, and that number could reach 400 million by 2035. So the demand here is enormous for sure. And based on our research and the series of programs that we have launched in a couple of years, we have seen a powerful aging industry that is developing very fast in this market here in China. So this trend has been visible across China's ecosystem, the healthcare system, the public hospitals, clinic institutions, and we can see a lot of supporting policies and many special pilot zones that are opening new doors for longevity innovation and international partnerships. So that's why we think that China nowadays could play a very important role in the development of this field. So we think this is the right moment to talk about how to move the longevity medicine from laboratory finding into a more actionable clinical growth. So that will be the core topic of our event this year. So this is the picture of our previous events in the past 6 years. As you can see, we got different sections. So during this year's forum, still we got different forum and different sub-forum that fully focus on different themes. Covering from fundamental aging development, the aging biology, and also the industry development, biohacking, longevity clinics, and also there are going to be a 2-day technology exhibition as well. Here is the general picture of the speaker lineup. This is part of the speakers we got this year. And as you may notice that apart from some distinguished professors, we also have invited many global leadership from healthcare and biotechnology companies like Genentech, like Aura Biomedical and Pfizer, as well as Novartis, etc. And also we got some speakers like Dr. Aubrey Degree and Pascal to sharing perspective about quantified aging practice and the real world experiences as well. So this year in total, we're going to invite 40 to 50 distinguished and top leadership, top voices of this sector, and a number of tech companies, healthcare providers, and many investors from China will be showing up during our exhibition as well. And this is the general picture of our attendee. So last year we got around 2,000 participants that are coming from all sectors of the world. And this year we are expecting more. As you can see, they are coming from all sectors like health professionals, doctors, biohackers, and investors, etc. And this is that will be the general focus of our event. And what is even more exciting about this event is that we're going to release a new white paper that solely focuses on the longevity ecosystem. Actually, we have already published a white paper that solely focused on China's longevity medicine and the whole industry, the technology development last year. So this year we have collaboration with Frost Sullivan, and we're gonna release a new white paper that fully focuses on the whole industry chain and to examine the ecosystem behind the longevity clinics, both in China and around the world. So another goal that we are trying to make through this event is that we want to support some young global researchers and advance their early stage projects in the form of our research grant program. We're gonna announce the final winners of our this year's grant program and present the awards to them using the profits and the proceeds of our event this year. So, by the way, if you are also working on this project, like you have some exciting, promising projects or research that is related to aging and longevity, you can find more information on our website. We will definitely welcome your application next year. So that will be the general picture of our forum this year. If you're interested, we would definitely welcome your participation, and you can find more detailed information on our official website, and also the agenda. The current agenda is also available for you on the web. And for the last point that I want to mention with you guys is that we also have our own longevity clinic in Shanghai, standing as the first dedicated clinic in China as well. So if you are attending this year, it could be a perfect chance for you to visit us, and we will welcome your visit and stop by after or before the event and experience some firsthand services we got here in China. So that will be all from me. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, so that's the TimePie longevity event in China. Some of you may not have heard of it before, and we've been happy to help everyone get to know what's going on all around the world. You know, only a decade ago, you'd be hard pressed to find any event. And now we've got events happening all the time. And that's really, I think, an indication of the movement we're making in age reversal and in this longevity field. So everybody keep doing what you're doing. It's so important. As Joe said earlier, one person can make a difference in the presence. Our event tonight has been recorded and it is available after we close. You can find it on our YouTube channel. Go to our website and you can get to the link to our YouTube channel, and there'll be a link at the top of our website for that. Please share this recording of this event with all the people that you care about, and join with us next month in Zoom and in YouTube for another presentation. That will be next month. It's August the 27th, Thursday evening, August the 27th. We'll see you then. And thanks for coming to Perpetual Life tonight. Okay.